What's going on, you guys? Coaster here, just talking Oakland Raiders. Preseason's pretty much over. Last game was just kind of a throwaway reserves battling game. So, with that being said, first of all, briefly talk about the preseason. From what I'm seeing is that there's too many holes on this team, and this team is once again in rebuild. That's what I do know. Yeah, you could bring up, oh, the score, they made it closer with the third stringers and garbage time, but it's all about what the starters do. And the starters haven't done much enough to really be convincing. And here's the biggest problems right now off the bat: offensive line and defensive line. Those are the two positions, unfortunately, that we could not address all the way in the offseason. And that's just how it works, unfortunately. You can only address so much in a draft and an offseason. And we just filled it with a bunch of short-term fixes like Jason Hunter and Matt Sims, Vance Walker. Pretty minor guys in the free agency through the defensive line. And offensive line, yeah, we addressed with a project in Menelik Watson, but he's a project still. But yeah, defensive line is the biggest glaring problem, and it's very obvious. There's no pass rush. And that was the thing I said. Before the preseason started, I said we don't have a pass rush, and it's going to show. Unless somebody steps it up. I said before, with the exception of maybe Lamar Houston, everyone on that defensive line from the tackle position, they're a bunch of no-namers. And sure, if we might have some coverage sacks, it'd be cool, but we have no pass rush at all. You could see some broken plays where the coverage is good, but then there's no pressure on the quarterback that he's dancing for 7 seconds that he'll eventually find somebody open. Pass rush definitely is the biggest problem of this team. And people say, yeah, we addressed our secondary, at least we have that, but the problem is they can run it down our throats, and that's another sign. The opposing teams can clearly run the ball well on us, and running the ball will set up the pass. That's going to screw everything over. Is it all on Reggie? No. Some of it is the cap. We're just paying a bunch of dead contracts. There's a few guys that were just kind of, you have dead money you had to get rid of, and most of the dead weight money will be paid off for this year. That's the good news. Linebackers looked okay. There's some ups. I thought DJ Hayden looked okay in the preseason game. I know he's kind of at a slow development, but secondary should still be the strength. I still stand by what I said. Just the pass rush could really pad the stats the wrong way if a team does not pass rush at all, and they don't have a run stopping. So, people talk about the linebackers have to make plays. Well, to stop the run, but the defensive line's got to be able to eat those double teams. They got to be able to give room for the running backs so that offensive linemen don't suddenly move forward and block linebackers. So, yeah, got to win those battles in the trenches, and we can't do that there. Offensively, offensive line, too much problems. That Jared Veldheer injury really broke my confidence. I was thinking, okay, maybe the left side of the line might be all right. That's the one positive we got, but no. The only guy that we have that's decent on the offensive line is Stefan Wisniewski. Everyone else to me is average or below average. Guys like Brizell and guys like Tony Bergstrom were meant for the zone blocking scheme under Greg Knapp, and obviously we know he's not with us anymore. We're switching to power blocking. That's going to look like a mess. The pass protection was really bad in the game, and I know people will say Flynn looked horrible and stuff, but a lot of it had to do with no offensive line. The tape that I saw, the offensive line looked horrible. Flynn was running, could not make plays, and unfortunately the offensive line cannot protect the pocket passer. That's just right now what it looks like. Guys like Khalif Barnes, I'm tired of seeing. And well, that's also going to hamper our running game. I could see McFadden getting 2-yard gains left and right, just straight up in the game because we don't have an offensive line. Is that all, once again, Reggie's fault? No. We got to just wait for next year to address that. The running back position, I think we're doing fine there. I think Jennings is good. I think Murray will be fine when he's healthy. I think that's going to be a sleeper guy. See if McFadden has a great year and we don't want to pay him because we want to spend our money on other things. Latavius Murray, I think, will be the very sleeper running back down the line. He may not be playing much this year, but I know we're not going to be. This will probably be McFadden's last year, unless he has a bad year or he has a middle-of-the-road year where the Raiders are going to spend to keep him. But if he has a great year, he's gone. If he has a bad year, he's gone. I'm saying that right now. Just be prepared. Don't buy a McFadden jersey this year, unless some contract extension comes. Wide receiver position. Streeter looks okay, but there's nobody that's a #1 receiver. That's the problem. Denarius Moore is not up to the point where he needs to be. Jacoby Ford as a wide receiver, I haven't seen much of him, and there's just a lot of no-namers we're operating under. You'd only hope that the kids like Bryce Butler or someone like Jaron Kreiner steps it up and plays well, because the wide receivers, there's no deep threat. There's more no-name wide receivers on that team than you'd look at when you just look at the roster. So yeah, Streeter. I guess Streeter's going to be a #1 apparently, and he's been good. Don't get me wrong, but he's definitely nothing exciting to look forward to. Just want to see the guys develop there. Tight end position, I think Casa, Rivera are going to be good prospects down the line. In the short term, you got Osbury, I got Gordon, but I could see the rookies take over that tight end position in the near future once they're developed and get used to the NFL level of play. Casa might be a very good blocker, and I think we'll be fine at that position. But now comes to the big part, the quarterback. And right now, with Flynn, we're screwed. Flynn is not meant to be a running quarterback, a run-first quarterback. Unfortunately, he can't run when he's getting blindsided, and he's getting just running for his life. There were some things that were his fault. One interception, I think, in the last game. But the quarterback position, yeah, he looked pretty bad in the sense that Pryor should be the starter at this point. I know Pryor, he did play well against the second-team defense. Should probably give him some first-team reps. At this point, we got to just ride with Pryor. I don't care how good or bad he is in practice at this point. I think with Pryor, maybe he could eat up those mistakes on the offensive line. He might be able to scramble a little bit more. Just try to run a gimmick offense for the heck of it. I mean, what do you have to lose this season? This Raiders team has nothing to lose. There's no expectations for the Raiders this season. Yeah, that loss of Veldheer really is going to hurt, and pass protection is going to be rough. Pryor can somewhat evade that, and we'll see what he does. We need to find out how good Pryor is or not. We have no upside with Matt Flynn going forward. Pryor's got 2 years left on his deal, on his initial rookie contract deal. You might as well play him while you can, or else if you don't play him now, you have next year being the contract year. So we need to find out information about Pryor as soon as possible, even if he's running that gimmick offense that I'm not a big fan of. But Pryor's just got to give him the chance, and I think a lot of Raider fans are seeing that the same way. He can make the offense look a little bit more exciting than Flynn, but yeah, it's going to be hard. The offensive line still, we got to know how to run the ball, and the running game has been an issue. The good news about Veldheer being hurt is that it was early, that Greg Olsen could come up with a game plan to work around that, maybe call more passing plays or plays that can counter a pass rush. But this is going to be a rough year, guys. I consider this rebuilding year #1 for Reggie McKenzie. Now, before y'all start jumping at me, I consider last year 0, because the Raiders were pretty much an expansion team, the way they had to inherit a mess. No draft picks. They inherited nothing from bad contracts they were trying to get out of, getting rid of dead weight. So this is year 1. This is Reggie's first real draft class, in my opinion, because he finally had a full draft. Got to develop the kids, just see how these guys do, and you never know. I think we could pull a few wins here and there, but best case scenario is 6-10. I hate saying that, but that's how I see this year. I know people were jumping on me last video for being so negative, but the offensive line and defensive line, those are 2 positions you have to have in football, and any quarterback is going to be bad with our offensive line. So until something is improved there, I see this going to be a very painful year to watch, and there's going to be issues. Now, the future of these videos is that I'm still going to talk Raiders after the game, always. I may not be there after the game immediately like I used to be, but I will always be after the game within 24 hours when the game ends. I will at least have a video up post-game. I might not have as many previews, and the problem is that I have a job. And that job, unfortunately, makes me work on Sundays. So that's why I might have videos come late as next as Monday, or as late as Just not even preview videos coming. Don't be surprised if that happens, but I still will talk after every game. I can promise you that. Just there's some things with this Raider team that there's some optimism to say, yeah, they're young, they're hungry, but I could see this team having less than 4 wins with Jared Veldheer out. I would not be surprised with no pass protection. I am not sold on Alex Barron. Somebody's got to step it up there, and I don't see anybody on that offensive line who can do that. And this is what a rebuild is. This is year 1 of a rebuild, since last year was year 0. So, briefly, I want to talk a little bit about the AFC, breaking down. I think there will be, first of all, the Broncos. This is the Broncos division to lose. Everyone has the Broncos winning this division in a landslide, 13-3, 14-2, and rightfully so. They're set up for this year, even with the suspension of Von Miller. But yeah, this is the Broncos division to lose. Going down, the Chiefs are considered to be a up-and-coming team. Everyone views them as the Andy Reid Kool-Aid. Andy Reid and Alex Smith together will work wonders, and everyone believes they can be a wild card team. I think there's one wild card spot that will be locked. There's 5 teams that everyone has making the playoffs, and then there's a 6th team out of nowhere. Someone could come out, and people believe that's the Chiefs. I don't buy it. I think the Chiefs' defense is legit, but the problem is I am still not sold on their offensive line as a whole. Even though they drafted Eric Fisher, their offensive line still, to me, in pass protection is not that good. I think that's going to be their downfall and problems. Chiefs, they could go 8-8 in my opinion. Would not be shocked, but I don't see them making the playoffs. That's just me. Chargers, just like the Chiefs, new regime, new GM, new head coach. Just like the Raiders, they hired another John Fox assistant, offensive coordinator Mike McCoy. Yeah, people might say they have Phillip Rivers, they got some talent, and believe me, they do have some offensive talent, but they still got incompetence. New GM, A.J. Smith is gone. I miss A.J. Smith every bit. They will go through a rebuild, in my opinion, as well, like the Raiders. And I wouldn't be surprised if, the Chargers don't have that good of a year either. This is going to probably be a losing season for both the Raiders and Chargers. I would not be surprised there. A few things other in the NFL. This is maybe a big question for you, the fans. Who do you have as a sleeper team, and who do you have as a disappointment? My sleeper team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers' offense is very exciting. Defense has been upgraded. They're very young, but I think they're very good and up and coming. Also, the Rams, I think, are a big sleeper team. Defensively, they're very well set under Jeff Fisher. So the Rams, Tampa, good. Teams that are going to disappoint, I really think the Cowboys are going to disappoint. That's just, I think they're 1 or 2 injuries away from being screwed. When healthy, they can win games, but I can see an injury or 2 from screwing them over. Especially that defensive line, I am not sold there. So let me know what you guys have out of that, and let me know what you think of this Raiders team. I'm not really looking forward to this year. I do not want to be having a few wins, but I just see 6-10 as the best case scenario because right now there's too many holes on the defensive and offensive line. Way too many. So until then, we'll see you guys later, and I will preview the Week 1 opener against the Colts when the time comes. We'll see you guys later.